opportunity later. Runners at second and third. Willie Randolph grounds one to third. He is thrown out. Then Mike Pagliarulo breaks from third, and he is thrown out at the plate as the Yankees lose this one this afternoon, 8-3, to the great unhappiness of George Steinbrenner. The final again, 8-3. Cowley getting the victory, Nilsson taking the loss, and Gene Nelson with his second save of the season. Now, before today's regular game at Yankee Stadium, they played the 40th annual Old Timers game. This year's contest featuring the famed Yanks of 1961 against a group of all-star rivals from that year. The game dedicated to the memory of the late Roger Maris. All the old favorites from that 61 team on hand today at Yankee Stadium, including, of course, Mickey Mantle and Whitey Ford. Manager Ralph Houck said that squad was an easy one to manage.
I think probably anyone could have managed it. I mean, you know, I don't give managers as much credit as some people do. I think as long as you know the players and they want to play for you and you can get the most out of them and keep them playing at their level, well, then you're going to win.
You know, everybody talk of home runs and all this, but you got to look back at the pitching staff, too. Whitey won 25 ball games. Ralph Terry won 16. Stafford, myself, Sheldon. You know, you can score a lot of runs, but if the pitchers don't do their job, you're not going to win.
It was a team that wasn't a one-shot deal, flash in the pan. We won in 60. We won again in 62, 63, and 64. So it was a mini dynasty among the larger dynasty the Yankees had for many years.
Well, the best team I ever played against, and the toughest team. Everybody in the lineup could hit one out, and every time you went out there to hit, you knew you were going to face a guy who could shut you out without even trying hard.
Really, I don't think I've seen a club that was as well-rounded and had as much ability as the 61 Yanks.
The game between the 61 Yanks and the 61 All-Stars ended today in a 2-2 tie. As for the team, the 86 Yanks, they are chasing the Red Sox, and the Sox are on the road tonight against Seattle. Boston leading by 5.5 games going into this game. Roger Clemens looking for win number 16 on the season against Mike Morgan. The Red Sox came up with 3 runs in the first, 1 in the second. They now lead by the score of 5-3, that game in the 5th inning.
These cannot be very pleasant days for the champion Kansas City Royals, with Dick Howser in a hospital and the team concentrating on matters much more important than baseball. Tonight at home, led by Mike Ferraro again, the Royals tried to ease things just a bit by attempting to beat the Indians. But Cleveland had other ideas. First man up, Tony Bernazard, boom. Takes Scott Tallulah Bankhead, second pitch of the game, drives it into the right field corner, over the fence for a home run, number 8. Top of the 3rd. Mel Tammany Hall, the blooper to short center field. It's going to fall for a base hit. Bernazard on base scores. Brett Tara Butler scores. 3-0 try. Next man up, Corey Snyder. Grease reliever Mark Gubiza with a sharp single to right. Joe Carter will score. The Tribe will quickly build up a 6-0 lead. But the Royals come back. 2 out in the 7th. Greg Pryor up with 2 on against Phil Niekro. Simple ground ball. But no, Corey Snyder throws the ball away. Frank White scores. It's 6-1. Next man up is Angel Salazar, and he takes the knuckler down the left field line for a double. Sundberg will score. Pryor will score. The Royals eventually cut this thing to 6-4. Then Scott Haybales is on. Willie Wilson tries to bunt his way on, but Brooke Jacoby with a beautiful play at third gets to Mercurial Wilson at first to end the inning. Royals weren't done, though. 2 out in the 9th with bases loaded. Ernie Macho Camacho up against Wilson. Wilson slaps the ball to shortstop. This time, Snyder, the underhanded feed of Bernazard at second in time. The force play ends the game. And the Cleveland Indians beat the Royals again tonight by the score of 6-4 in Kansas City. Phil Niekro winning for the 7th time this year, and Bankhead started and lost it for the Kansas City Royals. Pitchers duel in Baltimore, won by Mike Flanagan, Don Ossie, and the Baltimore Orioles. They beat Minnesota 1-0. The tough luck loser Neil Oilheaton surrendered only a second-inning homer to Rick Dempsey, but that was all the Orioles needed to win a tight game, a game between teams that certainly can hit the ball out and did so often last week when they played in the Homer Dome. Meanwhile, at Oakland, the A's came up with 1 in the 7th and 2 in the 8th. And the suddenly streaking Oakland A's have won 3 in a row. They're getting close to 400. They beat Milwaukee by the score of 3-2 as Bill Sun Young Mooneyham out of the bullpen to win it. Mark Clear lost it for the Brujas. The Texas Rangers, of course, have been a surprise early this season. but they were surprised in Detroit tonight. They thought they won the thing when Don Onslaught hit a homer in the 12th inning off Willie Hernandez. But Kirk Gibson had a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 12th to give the Tigers another win over the Texas Rangers by the score of 5-3. Coles also hit a homer in the game for Detroit. O'Brien hit his 12th for the Strangers. At California, Rupert Along Came Jones slugged a pair of home runs, drove in 4 runs. The Candyman went 5+ to get the win. Dave Steve, what's happened to him? 2-10 as California bombed Toronto by the score of 9-3. Still to come, cycling through the Alps, commonly known as the Tour de France.
And in tennis, the United States Davis Cup team was